Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about something super fascinating, fasting and hunger.
Yes.
But we are going to be looking at it from a completely different perspective than maybe what you're used to.
Uh-huh.
We're going to be going deep into Tafseer Hub-e-Ali, ዐlayhi as-salām, to uncover some pretty mind-blowing secrets.
Absolutely.
We're going to be looking at things like what this Tafseer says about Judgment Day and about those really tough moments when hunger feels like it's a test from Allah Azza wa Jal, and even about those 7 incredible qualities that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said come with sincere fasting.
Right. Like, fasting really is so much more than just an empty stomach. It's a doorway to a whole different type of fulfillment.
So, okay, let's jump right into this whole Judgment Day concept.
Okay.
There's this one hadith in the Tafseer from Imam Ali ዐlayhi as-salām that really caught my eye. He says that those who truly love him, they won't experience hunger on Judgment Day.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking about physical hunger.
Right. No, it goes much deeper than that. Imam Ali, ዐlayhi as-salām, is talking about freedom from all the wants and worries that we carry around with us in this life, like anxieties and unmet desires.
Right.
It paints this really beautiful picture of a soul that's completely content and at peace.
Wow. Can you imagine reaching that state? That would be incredible.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, cultivating love for Imam Ali ዐlayhi as-salām just skyrocketed to the top of my priority list. Talk about motivation.
Definitely.
Okay, so then there's this other part in the Tafseer that just completely surprised me. It's about this man who asks Imam Ali ዐlayhi as-salām what the best way is to seek help from Allah Azza wa Jal. And his answer, I was not expecting this.
It's all about facing hardship, specifically hunger and thirst. But here's the twist. It's about willingly going through it and turning to Allah Azza wa Jal for support right in those tough moments. And that's where the magic happens.
Oh, interesting.
That's what purifies the heart and strips away our dependence on all the worldly stuff, and it forges a stronger bond with the divine.
So it's like we're choosing to experience this need, this emptiness, and in that we find a deeper connection.
Exactly.
I've never thought of it like that before.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful when you think about it. It becomes a form of submission, a way of saying, I depend on you, Allah Azza wa Jal.
Right.
And through that surrender, we open ourselves up to his mercy and blessings.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
But, and I'm just throwing this out there, couldn't hunger also be like a test from Allah Azza wa Jal? Because sometimes, I'm not going to lie, during a fast, those hunger pangs hit and I'm like, is this really making me a better person?
It's so human to react that way. You've hit on something that the Tafseer and even the Quran address directly.
Yeah.
Verse 2.155, it tells us that challenges, and yes, that includes those growling stomachs, they're trials for our faith and our patience.
Okay, so it's like a spiritual workout, right?
Yeah.
You're pushing us to build those faith muscles.
You could say that, but what's really fascinating is that facing those tests head on with a steady heart.
And that's what brings us closer to Allah Azza wa Jal.
Wow. Okay.
And it's not just like some theory, it's something that we can really experience.
Oh, absolutely. One Ramadan, I don't know if I've told you this, but one Ramadan, I had this intense craving.
Yeah.
For this specific dish.
Yeah.
I mean, I was obsessed. And the more I focus on the purpose of the fast, my intention was to please Allah.
Right.
You know what? By the time I broke my fast, that craving was gone.
Wow.
Completely replaced by this feeling of accomplishment, this renewed connection with my faith. It was like I passed a test, even if it was just a test within myself.
I love that. That's such a powerful example of how pushing through these tests can really refine our character.
Right.
And speaking of refinement,
Yes.
this brings to mind a truly beautiful hadith that was narrated by Imam Hassan al-Askari, ዐlayhi as-salām, and it's found in the Tafseer. In it, the Prophet Muhammad,
Yes.
sallallahu alaihi wasallam, outlines 7 extraordinary qualities that are bestowed upon those who fast sincerely. 7. Okay, I'm ready. Lay it on me. Let's hear it.
All right. The first is that their prayers are accepted. Fasting, it acts like this incredible purifier of our intentions, making our pleas to Allah Azza wa Jal all the more likely to be heard.
So our hearts are clearer, our connection is stronger, and those prayers just shoot straight up.
Exactly.
What's the next one?
The second is that their repentance is accepted.
Okay, that makes total sense. When you're going through those hunger pangs, it can really lead to genuine remorse and a desire to turn back to Allah Subhānahu wa Taala.
Precisely. And the third quality is that their good deeds are multiplied. It's like Allah Azza wa Jal is saying, look at the sacrifice, look at the self-discipline. Here's an abundance of rewards for you.
That's incredible. So we're not just cleansing ourselves, we're racking up some serious spiritual reward points here.
Yeah, it's like a divine bonus program. And it keeps getting better. The fourth quality is that their sins are forgiven.
Okay.
It cleanses the heart even further, and it earns forgiveness for any past transgressions.
That is some serious mercy right there. Fasting is truly a path to spiritual renewal. What's next on this list of amazing qualities?
Well, the fifth one is that they will cross the Sirat bridge swiftly.
Hold on, the Sirat Bridge. Can you explain that one for our listeners who might not be familiar with what that is?
Of course. So the Sirat bridge is described as a bridge that all souls must cross on Judgment Day. It's narrower than a hair and it's sharper than a sword. But for those who are devoted to Allah Azza wa Jal through actions like fasting, their passage is made much easier.
Wow, so their commitment in this life really does pave the way for a smoother journey in the hereafter.
Exactly. And the sixth quality is that they will be given security on a day of great fear.
Another term we might need to break down a little bit.
Good point. So the day of great fear, that refers to the day of judgment, when everyone will be in this state of immense fear and anxiety.
So like their fasting acts as a shield against all that terror and uncertainty.
Precisely. Their steadfastness in this life earns them solace and protection in that really daunting realm.
Okay, I am on the edge of my seat. What's that seventh and final quality?
All right, this one is truly special. They will be called from the gates of paradise, receiving a special welcome into their eternal abode as a reward for their sincere fasting.
Wow, a VIP entrance into paradise?
I know, right?
These 7 qualities are so inspiring. I feel like embodying even just a few of these could really transform our lives, both here and in the hereafter.
Yeah, it's the beauty of these teachings. They're not just like these lofty ideals.
Right.
They're practical steps towards self-improvement and spiritual growth. And it's like a reminder that fasting is about so much more than just skipping meals. It's about aligning ourselves with divine mercy. But there's another layer to this whole hunger thing that I find so interesting.
Okay, tell me, what's next?
It's like, okay, so if hunger can be this test from Allah Azza wa Jal, what other hidden blessings are we missing out on just in our everyday lives? Like those moments that we might just brush off as like annoyances or inconveniences.
Right.
You know?
Like we're so busy, we're so caught up in our routine that we're not even paying attention to these chances to grow.
Exactly. It could be a frustrating day or a sudden loss, even just an unexpected encounter. All of those things could be these veiled tests that are pushing us to rely more on Him.
It's like a total perspective shift. It's a call to be more present, more aware of the divine, like in everything.
Right.
You know, it makes me think about something else I found in the Tafseer, this emphasis on reciting the Quran properly. Not just reading the words, but really like absorbing them.
Yeah, and Imam Ali as-salām has this really amazing analogy in the Tafseer. He compares the Quran to a letter from Allah Azza wa Jal and says that we wouldn't just toss aside a letter from a king without carefully reading it and understanding it.
Right, so we should approach the Quran with that same level of respect and attention.
Yeah.
It's like a direct message from the divine, and we need to be ready to receive it.
And that means approaching it with humility and sincerity, you know, a real thirst for knowledge and a willingness to let its teachings transform us.
So it's not just about personal interpretation, but finding that like authentic understanding.
Exactly. And this ties back to divine mercy. You see, the Quran and the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt, ʿalayhim as-salām, are like these incredible gifts, guiding us towards what's right, illuminating the path. But it's not passive.
Okay, so it's not just handed to us. We have to work for it.
You got it. We have to actively seek that mercy, put in the effort to learn and grow and actually put that knowledge into action.
So it's a two-way street. Allah's mercy is there, but we have to be walking towards it.
Right.
And fasting is like this training program for that journey.
Yeah.
But, you know, the Tafseer, it doesn't just talk about like individual growth. It also highlights this social aspect of Islam.
Yes.
Right? Like this responsibility we all have to care for others, to fight for justice.
Absolutely. You see that a lot in the verses about giving to charity and helping those in need. It's a really powerful reminder that our spiritual development is intertwined with the well-being of the community.
It's like we're all connected and our individual growth impacts the whole.
Exactly. And Imam Ali, ዐlayhi as-salām, drives this point home in a beautiful hadith found in the Tafseer.
Okay.
He says, the best of people are those who benefit others.
That's so true. It's not just about like our personal acts of worship, but about extending that compassion and kindness to everyone around us. When I think about that concept of benefiting others, it makes me think about the whole idea of wa-taʿālā.
Oh, well, yeah. Now we're getting into the heart of it.
Right.
The Tafseer really emphasizes that true faith includes recognizing and submitting to the authority of the Imams, ʿalayhi as-salām.
And not just in like spiritual matters, but in social and political affairs as well.
Exactly. The Imams, ʿalayhim as-salām, are portrayed as these beacons of justice and examples of ethical behavior and advocates for those who are oppressed.
Right.
They're like the ultimate role models for how to live a life of service and create a just society.
So following their guidance is essential for building a society that's based on fairness and compassion.
Precisely. Their teachings, they provide a framework for a society that's rooted in things like compassion and fairness and the pursuit of the common good. And this, in turn, creates an environment where individuals can flourish spiritually and morally.
Okay, I'm really starting to see how all of these concepts connect.
Yeah.
Like fasting and charity and social justice and walaya.
Right.
They all circle back to those fundamental Islamic principles. Submission to Allah, as-salām, love for the Ahlul Bayt, ﷺ, as-salām, and working toward a world that reflects his divine attributes.
It's like this beautiful tapestry woven with these threads of faith and action and compassion. And the Tafseer Hub-e-Ali, ዐlayhi salām, gives us the tools to understand and appreciate this really intricate design, and even more importantly, to play our part in its ongoing creation.
It's amazing how the Tafseer doesn't just like lay out these principles, but uses stories and historical events to bring the Quran's message to life.
Right.
Like those examples, they really add another dimension to the verses.
Absolutely. Tafseer Hub-e-Ali, ዐlayhi salām, is not just like this dry commentary. It's filled with these captivating stories and anecdotes and historical accounts. It's like you're stepping back in time and you're witnessing the unfolding of these events, but also extracting these timeless lessons from them.
Oh, like the story of Prophet Musa, ዐlayhi salām, and the children of Israel.
Oh.
I always found that one so powerful.
It's a classic. And it's referenced multiple times in the Tafseer, often to illustrate the dangers of disobedience and the consequences of straying from the path of righteousness.
And who could forget that whole golden calf incident?
Oh, man.
Talk about a stark reminder of how easily we can be distracted by worldly things and lose sight of what really matters.
It's a cautionary tale for all of us. And then there are those inspiring stories about the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and the early Muslims. Their unwavering faith, their sacrifices, the challenges that they faced in establishing Islam. It's all so powerful.
Yeah. Like the story of the prophets, ﷺ, miraculous journey to the heavens, the mirage.
Oh, yeah.
I get chills every time I hear about that.
It's truly awe-inspiring, and it really underscores the power of faith and the importance of seeking knowledge and guidance directly from the divine. But it's not just about personal revelation, it also emphasizes the responsibility to share that knowledge and to uplift others.
So it's like this divine ripple effect, spreading knowledge and inspiration outward.
Exactly. And it's a theme that runs throughout the Tafseer, this interconnectedness of our spiritual journeys, the importance of community and the transformative power of knowledge and action. It's not just about what we know, it's about what we do with that knowledge.
Right. It makes me think about some of the esoteric interpretations in the Tafseer. It's like there's a whole other level of meaning waiting to be unlocked.
Ah, the esoteric interpretations.
Yes.
They're like these hidden treasures within the verses, offering deeper spiritual insights. Often they connect back to the concept of wa-taʿālā, highlighting the unique spiritual station of the Imams, ﷺ, as-salām, and their role as these intermediaries between the divine and humanity.
Can you give an example of an esoteric interpretation? Because sometimes those can be a little bit challenging to wrap your head around.
Of course. So take, for instance, verses that seem to be addressing historical figures or events.
Right.
The Tafseer explains that those can also be interpreted as referring to the Imams, ﷺ, as-salām, and their timeless guidance. So it's like this layered meaning, making the Quran relevant across different times and contexts.
It's mind-blowing how one verse can hold so much meaning. But you're right, some of those interpretations can be tough to fully understand.
And that's where humility comes in. Esoteric knowledge can be complex, and it requires a lot of study and reflection. And it's really crucial to approach it with that willingness to learn and to seek guidance from those who are well-versed in these matters. But even if we don't grasp every detail, just being aware of these deeper layers, it can really enrich our appreciation of the Quran and enhance our spiritual journey.
It's like a glimpse into this vast ocean of knowledge. It just inspires you to keep exploring and seeking deeper understanding. But, amidst all these complex interpretations and historical stories, what really struck me in the tafsir was this simple yet profound emphasis on love.
Love.
Yes, love for Allah Azza wa Jal,
Yeah.
love for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa sallam, and love for the Imams alayhim as-salām. The tafsir presents it as the foundation of faith.
Yeah.
The driving force behind our actions, the key to spiritual fulfillment. It's like this beautiful thread that ties everything together.
That's such a beautiful observation. And you're right, love is at the very heart of Tafseer Hub-e-Ali ﷺ. But it emphasizes that love isn't just a feeling.
Right.
It's a state of being, a way of life. It shows up in our obedience to Allah Azza wa Jalla, our adherence to the Prophet's ﷺ teachings, and our loyalty and devotion to the Imams alayhim as-salām. There's this incredibly moving hadith where Imam Ali ﷺ says, "Whoever loves us will be resurrected with us."
Wow.
It's a powerful testament to the transformative power of love, suggesting that our love for the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam isn't just some abstract concept, it has real-world consequences.
Right.
It shapes our destiny in the hereafter.
And it's not just about feelings, right? The tafsir also talks about, expressing this love through our actions.
Absolutely. True love translates into action. It pushes us to follow the guidance of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and to strive to embody their virtues and to work towards establishing justice and righteousness in the world.
So it's like this outward ripple effect.
Yeah.
Our love for Allah, Azza wa Jal, and His chosen ones, it inspires us to act. And those actions create positive change in the world, reflecting that love outwards.
Beautifully put. And that outward expression of love is very deeply connected to the concept of service to humanity. The tafsir emphasizes that true believers are those who work to benefit others, to alleviate suffering, and to make the world a more just and compassionate place.
So our spiritual journeys aren't just these solitary pursuits.
Right.
They're intertwined with the well-being of our communities and working towards this greater good.
Precisely. And that sense of collective responsibility is emphasized even further in the discussions about the Day of Judgment. Tafseer Hub-e-Ali alayhi salam paints a really vivid picture of that day, highlighting the accountability that we'll face for our actions and the crucial role of wilaya in determining our final outcome.
It's both awe-inspiring and a little bit daunting, I have to say. It really makes you think about the importance of aligning your life with Allah Azza wa Jal's will and seeking the guidance and intercession of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salām.
You're right. The tafsir reminds us that on that day, our possessions, our status, even our good deeds won't be enough if we've neglected that vital element of wilaya. It's a stark reminder that true faith means recognizing and submitting to the authority of the Imams alayhim as-salām, both in this life and the next.
So it's not just about performing rituals, but about making sure that our hearts and our actions are in line with their teachings and their guidance. So we need both the inner and outer alignment.
Exactly. And that's where that whole concept of divine mercy comes full circle. The Imams, as the embodiment of Allah Azza wa Jal's mercy, they are our guides and our intercessors on that day, advocating for those who have been sincere in their faith and their love for them.
It's a comforting thought, knowing that we have these compassionate guides to help us navigate the complexities of the hereafter.
Absolutely. And this brings us back to the profound significance of fasting. It's not just about abstaining from food and drink. It's about purifying our hearts, strengthening our resolve, and cultivating a deeper connection with Allah Azza wa Jal and His chosen representatives. It's a powerful way to align ourselves with divine mercy, both in this life and the next.
It's amazing how this seemingly simple act of fasting can have such a profound meaning and such far-reaching implications.
Right.
We've covered so much already. Judgment Day, divine assistance, those tough tests, the 7 incredible qualities of those who fast sincerely, even the importance of love and unity.
Yeah.
It feels like we're just skimming the surface of this vast ocean of wisdom in Tafseer Hub-e-Ali alayhi salam.
We really are just getting started. Each narration, each story, each interpretation just unlocks another layer of understanding. It's a constant journey of discovery.
And what strikes me is that it's not just about accumulating information, but about letting that knowledge change our hearts, our actions, how we interact with Allah, Azza wa Jal, the Ahlul Bayt, alayhim as-salam, and the world around us.
That's the real treasure, isn't it? That transformation. Knowledge is a tool, a means to an end, but not the end itself.
And that end is to become better versions of ourselves, to embody the principles of our faith, and to contribute to the betterment of humanity. But there's another aspect of the tafsir that we haven't touched on yet that I think would be really fascinating to explore: the descriptions of paradise.
Oh, paradise. Tell me everything. What does the Tafsir say about it?
Oh, they are truly breathtaking. It's painted as this realm of eternal beauty where every desire is fulfilled and you just leave all sorrow and pain behind. Imagine like rivers of milk and honey, gardens overflowing with the most delicious fruits, and palaces adorned with jewels beyond your wildest dreams.
Okay, that sounds pretty amazing.
What about
It's like
you?
all the best things in life, but like amplified to infinity.
Exactly. But the descriptions go beyond just those like physical pleasures. Paradise is also portrayed as a place of ultimate spiritual fulfillment.
Mm.
You're in the company of prophets, ﷺ, the imams, ﷺ, and all the righteous souls, experiencing this pure joy of being in the presence of Allah, Azza wa Jal. So it's not just about luxury, but like this really deep sense of peace and connection.
Yeah.
Like you're just surrounded by pure love and goodness.
Precisely. It's a reminder that our ultimate goal shouldn't just be about like worldly comfort, but that eternal bliss and closeness to the divine. There's this one detail in the Tafsir that I find really fascinating.
Okay.
It mentions that there are different levels of paradise.
Different levels, so it's not like a one-size-fits-all kind of paradise.
Right. The narrations explain that paradise has multiple levels, each reflecting the varying degrees of spiritual attainment that were achieved during our time in this world. Basically, the quality of your actions in this life influences your experience in the next.
So it's not just about getting into paradise. It's about striving for the highest level possible. It's like aiming for the penthouse suite.
That's a great way to put it. And each individual station in paradise is determined by their level of faith, their sincerity, and how closely they align their life with Allah, Azza wa Jal's will, and the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt, ʿalayhi as-salām.
It's like a cosmic report card. But instead of grades, it's levels of paradise.
Yeah.
Wow. It really makes you consider the weight of your actions, knowing that they have these like eternal consequences.
Exactly. But instead of feeling discouraged, we should see this as motivation to constantly improve ourselves, to aim for excellence, and to dedicate our lives to reaching that highest spiritual station possible.
It's like a challenge to push yourself to be the best version of yourself, knowing that your efforts will be reflected in your experience of paradise.
That's the spirit. And Tafseer Hub-e-Ali, ﷺ, is like this incredible guidebook, providing the wisdom and the inspiration to embark on this journey of spiritual ascent. It encourages us to constantly refine our character, to deepen our knowledge, and to dedicate our actions to serving Allah, Azza wa Jal, and humanity.
It's a reminder that our potential is limitless, and paradise, with all its unimaginable beauty and bliss, is within our reach. But you know what really stood out to me about the descriptions of paradise was this emphasis on relationships. Like, it's not just this solitary experience of bliss, it's about being with the people you love.
That's such a beautiful point. The Tafsir actually mentions that we'll be reunited with our loved ones in paradise, and those bonds of family and friendship will become even stronger and more fulfilling. It's described as this place where love and joy just flow freely, misunderstandings and conflicts vanish, and where relationships reach their like fullest potential.
Wow. No more arguments, just pure love and understanding. That sounds incredible.
It truly does. There's this beautiful hadith where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, "The people of paradise will visit one another like stars shining in the sky."
Wow, that paints such a vivid picture of joy and connection. It's like our earthly relationships are just a shadow of the love and the closeness that we'll experience in paradise.
Exactly. It's like those relationships are elevated, transformed into something even more profound and fulfilling.
It makes you really appreciate those connections in this life, knowing that they have this like eternal significance.
And it really underscores the importance of nurturing those relationships now in this life, cherishing our loved ones, treating them with kindness and compassion, and building strong, meaningful connections that will endure beyond this world.
It's like investing in our eternal happiness. But you know, this whole idea of interconnectedness, it extends beyond just our personal relationships, right? The Tafsir also talks about the importance of community and building a better world for everyone.
Absolutely. The narrations really emphasize that true believers, they aren't just focused on their own personal salvation. They're actively engaged in making the world a better place. They fight injustice, promote peace and understanding, and they strive to create a society that reflects those divine attributes of justice and mercy and compassion.
So it's about recognizing that our individual journeys are woven into like the fabric of the community,
Yeah.
and that we have this responsibility to contribute to the collective good.
Exactly. And this active engagement, it's not just a suggestion, it's presented as a fundamental part of our spiritual growth.
It's like putting our faith into action. Not just believing in good things, but actively working to bring them about. And I imagine the concept of wilaya plays a huge role in this as well.
Absolutely. Remember, the Imams, ʿalayhim as-salām, are like the ultimate blueprint for a just and equitable society. Their teachings stress the importance of social responsibility, ethical conduct, and pursuing the common good. They're like the ultimate example of how to live a life of service.
So by following their guidance, we can actually create a world where everyone can flourish and reach their full potential.
Precisely. Their teachings, they provide the framework for a society that's rooted in compassion, fairness, and the pursuit of knowledge and understanding. It's in that kind of environment that spiritual growth and social progress can happen together.
It's like this beautiful vision of a world transformed by faith and action, a world where everyone is supported and empowered to thrive.
It's a powerful vision, isn't it? And Tafseer Hub-e-Ali, alayhi salam, gives us the tools and the inspiration to actually work towards that vision. It reminds us that our faith isn't just about personal piety. It's about making a real difference in the world.
It's about transforming not just our individual lives, but also the world around us, creating this legacy of good that extends far beyond our own existence. Exploring the depths of Tafseer Hub-e-Ali, ዐlayhi salam, has been such an incredible journey.
It really has.
We've covered so much ground, from the power of fasting and hunger to the beauty of paradise and the importance of building a just and compassionate world.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
I know, right?
This tafsir is like this wellspring of wisdom, offering endless opportunities for reflection and growth.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I just feel a sense of gratitude for the chance to learn from these really profound teachings and to be able to share them with our listeners. It's been a real privilege.
The privilege has been all ours.
Yeah.
And for you, dear listener, we leave you with this. How will you use the wisdom that you've gained from this deep dive to enrich your life and make a positive impact on the world around you?
It's a question worth pondering. May the insights we've shared inspire you to continue exploring the depths of Tafseer Hub-e-Ali ዐlayhi salam and to embark on your own journey of lifelong learning, growth, and service.
Until next time, may Allah Subḥānahu wa Taala guide us all on the path of righteousness and grant us the wisdom and the strength to live lives that are pleasing to Him.
O God, bless Muhammad and his household. Protect us from yourself. Safeguard us through yourself. Guide us to yourself, and take us not far from yourself. He whom you protect stays safe. He whom you guide knows, and he whom you bring near yourself takes the spoils. O God, bless Muhammad and his household, and spare us the cutting edge of time's turning changes, the evil of Satan's snares, and the bitterness of the sovereign's aggression. O God, the spared are spared only through the bounty of your strength, so bless Muhammad and his household and spare us. The givers give only through the bounty of your wealth, so bless Muhammad and his household and give to us. The guided are guided only by the light of your face, so bless Muhammad and his household and guide us. O God, he whom you befriend will not be injured by the abandonment of the abandoners. He to whom you give will not be diminished by the withholding of the withholders. He whom you guide will not be misled by the misguidance of the misguiders. So bless Muhammad and his household. Defend us from your servants through your might. Free us from need for other than you through your support, and make us travel the path of the truth through your right guidance. O God, bless Muhammad and his household, and put the soundness of our hearts into the remembrance of your mightiness, the idleness of our bodies into giving thanks for your favor, and the flow of our tongues into the description of your kindness. O God, bless Muhammad and his household, and make us one of your summoners who summon to you, your guiders who direct to you, and your special friends whom you have singled out, O most merciful of the merciful.